Celebrating 30 years of phenomenal trend forecasting, 5 times a week, Monday through Friday. Here's Gerald Celente with today's trends in the news.
Hi, this is Gerald Celente. It's Friday, August 14th, 2015. And here are some of today's trends in the news. Well, it's definitely not Friday the 13th, because on the market front, everything is pretty flat. Mostly down, Dow's up a little bit. And remember, all they're trying to do in China to reboost that Shanghai, not working yet, but they'll keep trying. So, of course, the news is the yuan or the renminbi, whatever they want to call it, and how it's being devalued. Now, yes, it is, but remember, it has gained about 10% over the dollar over the last year or so. So it's been on the uptick, and you're seeing a lot of currencies decline, but China's an easy target to go after because they should be. They're big. It's easy to hit a big target, but their exports are declining. Their economy is declining. Nobody believes the 7% growth rate. Most people are putting it about 4 to 5%. So it's obvious they're going to devalue their currency, but it needs to be put into perspective a little bit, because what you have here is Brazil's real has lost about 60% against the dollar since 2011. Turkey's lira, that's down over 50%. You look at the yuan against the yen, it appreciated by 80% over the yen. So remember, these countries are right next to each other. So if one currency is going way down, then the Japanese economy is in trouble, and they're devaluing their currency to export more. Don't you think the Chinese are going to do it? Indonesia's rupiah slumped to a 17-year low against the US dollar. And it's at the Malaysia ringgit has performed worse, dragged to its lowest level since the 1997-98 Asian currency crisis. You can feel it and see it, but not many people are talking about it. The flight of investor money from U.S. stocks has turned into a stampede. $78.7 billion leaving domestic equity-focused funds has been the worst in 2015 than it was during the financial crisis years, when the S&P tumbled some 60%, according to data released today by Morningstar. The total is highest since 1993. Domestic equity funds surrendered $20.4 billion in July alone and have seen $158 billion in redemptions over the past 12 months, according to Morningstar. Quote, apart from flows following performance, this pattern also hints at investors' expectations for the future, end quote. So as we've been saying now for several weeks, we believe the crash is coming. The evidence is building up. And what is that saying about the lowering of the yuan, about the numbers coming in soft? Now the speculation is the Fed is not going to raise interest rates in September, but they're going to wait till December. I say if they wait until December, it's going to be even worse, because if they raise them during December and the market takes a panic, it's not going to be good for retail sales in Christmas. So, when are they going to raise it? I don't know, but it's not very good looking over here in the States. Kohl's lukewarm sales add to retailing fears. Kohl's Corporation reported a surprise decline in profit and tepid sales growth in the second quarter, adding to concerns that the retailer's turnaround plan is faltering. One bad piece of news after another, and little story here in the front page of the Financial Times that nobody will really care much about. BP traders ruled to have rigged U.S. gas markets in the wake of Hurricane Ike. I like Ike. Yep, let's rig the markets, and no one, you could bet on it, man. No one will pay the price. Maybe they'll get some low-hanging fruit, but no big cats. BP faces the prospect of fresh regulatory fines. That's right. After a judge ruled that its energy traders rigged the U.S. natural gas market in the aftermath of a 2008 hurricane. But of course, BP said it disagreed with the judge's conclusion and would appeal. And it'll go on and on and on. But hey, those FBI men, they got those two newlyweds in Mississippi that were gonna go fight ISIS. The bullshit. Hey, you want to see some bullshit? Why don't we call it Bullshit Friday? Because here's the way they do it. A story like that gets no coverage. Guess who's back in the news? The Yazidis, which is also going to be another excuse for boots on the ground in Iraq. Remember, I've been doing a Yazidi gig now for quite a while, how the liar-in-chief about a year ago, we're going to save them Yazidis on the mountain. Yep, because they're enslaving them women. Well, they're back. Look at this coverage. The toilet paper of record, the New York Times. Enslaving young girls, the Islamic State bills. You ready for this? A vast system of rape. How about that for propaganda, huh? A vast system for rape. Who really knows what they're doing? And again, you think if you destroy country after country, neighboring country after neighboring country, kill millions of people, you're going to create violent conditions. And that's going to be the talk. We got to get rid of ISIS. But nobody will talk about how they were created and how the Arab Little League of lowlifes, along with the Americans, helped create them. That's right. Giving those weapons to the rebels with a cause. Assad has to go, and so does Gaddafi. Setting this whole stage for this. And here they go. Militants use methods as recruiting tool while claiming Quran's support. Look at what they've got into that. Islamic State. Let's hate the Islams. Quran. Yep, another excuse to hate them. Look at this coverage. One page after another. Full page. Full page. Gotta save them Yazidis. You can see it coming. And what doesn't make the news, entire family killed in Saudi Arabia airstrike in the Sadr province. The number is now up to 5,392 civilians, mostly women and children, slaughtered by the Saudis. Hey, but they like to behead people, so you kill. But look at the hypocrisy. Hey, those Yazidis, you got to save them. But that's for the Yemenis. Because the United States is supporting Saudi Arabia. You remember, we're the people providing them with intelligence. That's right. Military intelligence, as everyone knows, is an oxymoron, including we're also going to give them reconnaissance and armaments. So there you got it. And speaking of liars, frauds, Freaks and Fools, the champion of that last presidential reality show, Obama, quote, is set to discuss rights issues with China. Washington. A top State Department official, asshole, said Thursday that there was, quote, a growing sense of alarm in the United States about the human rights developments in China, vowing that the issue would feature prominently in summit talks between President Xi Jinping of China and President Obama in Washington next month. You know what that is.
That was bullshit.
Total bullshit that America has any right to talk about human rights violations as they slaughter people all over the world. Hey, you elect me, man. All you liberal little weenies out there, I'm going to close Guantanamo. I'd be the peace president. Peace of Nobel Peace Prize crap. You remember that one? Hey, we're going to cut those troops in half in Afghanistan. Well, no, we're not. What is that, 6,000 now airstrikes into Iraq and Syria since we've been saving them Yazidis. This story is a setup. And, speaking of China, air pollution in China is tied to 1.6 million deaths a year. So what? We got them Yazidis to save. That's what's important. And of course, I'm against all of that. It's the hypocrisy is what I'm talking about. And do I believe a thing that comes out of the print of the disgusting New York Times, who sold us all that yellow cake and aluminum tubes? You remember that one? Yeah, get that aluminum tube and shove it. You remember? Oh, you forgot? Saddam Hussein was using it to make nuclear weapons, and the toilet paper sold us the lie. And speaking of lies, frauds, freaks, and fools, Jeb Bush is shooting off his fat mouth. He says his brother's security mission was accomplished in Iraq. That's right, and he's getting away with it. I think people have every right to be critical of decisions that were made. Oh, you do? Wow. Hey, isn't that nice of you? You mean your brother, the mass murderer? That one? We can be critical? Thanks, Jeb. Let me go on. I'm proud of what he did to create a secure environment for our country. Then you are a sociopath, because you can't live up to a lie or look down on your murderous brother. Hey, but your old man did a good job too, didn't he? Yeah, I guess it runs in the family. All in the family. Psychopaths and sociopaths. The mission was accomplished when it came to Iraq's security at the end of his brother's time in the White House, Bush said. That's a fact. That's
bullshit detected. Take precautions.
That's right, Jeb. Bullshit. Total bullshit. You want to go on? I'm going to go on. I think I should run for president because I can say any damn stupid thing I want. Here, taking out Saddam Hussein turned out to be a pretty good deal. Yeah, it's a great deal. We destroyed a country that was doing just fine without us and turned it into a total wasteland as all the areas around it. Here, speaking of sick son of a bitches, Rumsfeld blames Iraq problems on pockets of dead-enders. Asked at a Pentagon press conference about Iraqi resistance, Rumsfeld described it as, quote, small elements of 10 and 12 people, not large military formations or networks of attackers. He said there's, quote, little debate in the administration over whether there is any central control to the resistance, which officials say is coming from Saddam Hussein's former Ba'ath Party. Quote, in those regions where pockets of dead enders are trying to reconstitute. Dead enders? You're it, man. They don't get any more dead end than you. Oh, when was that? June 18th, 2003. A dead end. And they're going to keep taking us down this path. Remember, Trump wins, tyranny comes. Hillary wins, war comes. Occupy peace. This is Gerald Celente, and that's some of today's Trends in the News.